Ladies and gentlemen, after a long absence, X3 is finally back for points-paying races as we come to the 5th race of the season here in France. I'm your host for today, Insanely Air 13. I'm also being joined by XRL Torpedo. Torpedo, it's nice to see you again. How have you been, man?
I've been good. Obviously, last week was a bit disappointing that we couldn't race, obviously due to the real life F1. But we're back at the French Grand Prix circuit. Hopefully, looking for some more chaos in the latest installment in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. This will be the 5th race of the season. We're looking at almost a full field. 19 drivers will be starting today's race. But before we get into the race, I think a good idea is to go ahead and take a look at the championship as it stands right now after the first 4 completed races. As I go ahead real quickly and bring up the current point standings as they are, when you look at the Manufacturers' Championship, we're starting to see a little bit of a breakaway at the front. At the back, it's Williams with only 3 points, trying to replicate their 2018 season, apparently. Then Scuderia AlphaTauri Honda is 9th with 11 points. There is a tie for 7th between Mercedes and Alfa Romeo, both have 21 points. McLaren is 6th with 26 points. 5th is Alpine with 41 points. They're just 2 points away from Red Bull, who is 4th with 43. The Haas F1 team has 49 points, and then the 2 teams that are absolutely dominating in the Manufacturers' Championship, 96 points for Aston Martin, they are 2nd, and 99 for Scuderia Ferrari with 99 points. So surely one of those 2 teams will break the 100-point barrier when it comes to the Manufacturers' Championship. When it comes to the Drivers' Championship, things are a little bit different. Plastic Love, Constant Jet, and XRL Breezy all have yet to actually earn points this season. VertiX has a single point, he's 17th. XRL Snake has 4 points in the McLaren. There's a 3-way tie for 13th between AlphaTauri teammates TIR Flavor and Wild Nissan GTR, along with XXX Books XXX. 12th in the driver's point standings is Fratters with 7 points. We're normally used to seeing him with a little bit more points by this point in the season, so hopefully he can start picking things up sooner rather than later. 9th is Dave Ewart with 11 points. Another tie for 9th with XRL Pingu and Collie Boy. They both have 12 points. 8th in the point standings is Stone Shovel with 13 points. A small jump up to Boothie, who has 20 points thus far. A good start for the season for him, it would appear. Then 33 points for Schold. 41 points for XRL Fiend. 4th in the championship is XRL Gussie with 43. The 2 Ferraris are 2nd and 3rd, with Schumacher SF7 having 46 points and Shelby IX Spark having 52 points. And right now, dominating the championship with 76 points is Mr. Anderson, 1872. And that is your current point standings as we load onto the circuit today. 19 drivers for today's event. It's going to be dry qualifying. We're anticipating all the way through. Don't know yet about the race. I'll get word on that once we know a little bit more. So, France. I'm going to be honest. I think this is going to be a great race for today simply because France is not a good circuit under normal circumstances, but considering the excessive amount of issues we've been seeing with wheel glitches and drivers having issues spinning off the curbs, all the runoff here means that drivers are going to be able to stay on the racetrack significantly more, and they're not as likely to tear their machinery out.
Yeah, and I think it also could culminate into some great racing as well. Like the long back straight with DRS is very overpowered. When you have the DRS. And basically that build up to that straight is very crucial when you're behind someone. Also, it could be crucial in a qualifying lap as well, so could be an interesting race today. Well, hopefully.
While sadly I did not get a chance to watch the Dev race yesterday, I did get to broadcast the XRL race yesterday, which took place at France. That was a very intriguing race of a nearly full starting grid. We still had all but 3 drivers running at the end, and the drivers at the end were either taken out by glitches or real-life things that they had to deal with. We watch Schold right now as he is bringing the Haas through the round corner in Sector 3. It was very interesting because we saw at some points up to 4 different drivers vying for the top spot. Now granted, that was a much longer race, there was a lot more time for strategy to play out. A little bit shorter today, strategy is going to be a little bit more limited. So now I want to pass the question off to you. What is going to be the ideal tire strategy for today's race?
I think most drivers want to implement the mediums, maybe, and just go on a nice long stint on them, maybe go on hards, or push out even further if safety cars do happen and go on softs. But I think some drivers here it's going to be implicating the softs because I think they'll be more comfortable with it. And they probably could go. I think that'll be a 2-stop for them, most likely soft, medium, medium, or soft, medium, soft. So a lot of strategies can be varied for this race. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in Q2.
You make an excellent point. Right now I'm looking at Mantic Meekrat in the Williams as he is on the run down through Sector 3 right now. Validates the lap he's in the middle of, but it doesn't matter because it's just an outlap for him. And then you also have your current points leader, Mr. Anderson, who's beginning his outlap as he's just exited Sector 1 and is coming onto a nice little back straightaway right now.
So full dry qualifying, but really 45 minutes into the race, according to Fiend in the chat.
It's going to end up becoming very interesting because then you have to figure out, okay, if the rain comes, how do you build your strategy around that? You're still going to have to start on a dry set of tires, but I'll go ahead and say this. I would consider throwing on hards and not making a pit stop at all until the rain comes. And then once the rain comes, be the first person to throw on some intermediates and try to get a huge jump up to the field that way. Is that a good strategy? I can't verify, but that's what I would want to do at least.
Yeah, because I know you don't want to pit for the rain as well. Like, if you're on the softs and mediums, that's not really the best strategy, especially with the rain. This Collie Buggles says the first lap time on the 30.285.
I'm going to go ahead and go silent for a lap, and we'll ride on board with our points leader, Mr. Anderson, to see what a lap is like around here in the Aston Martin X3 at France. The 8th driver to set a lap time today is going to be Mr. Anderson, 1872. Sets the second fastest time thus far in the sector, in the session, with a 129.428. A very large spread from 1st to 8th right now. I believe Schold must have had some sort of issue on his outlap. He is almost 8 seconds down, actually a little more than 8 seconds down off of Verti's time right now.
Yep. Indeed. Next one set a lap time will be Gusty in the Red Bull.
Gusty's teammate, Plastic Glove, has just gone out onto the circuit as well as preparing to set a flying lap. Gusty in the Red Bull will go ahead across the start-finish line with lap time of 129.765. I called that a little too early.
Boofy will be the next one to set his lap time. He's in the just started sector 3.
50.146 at the end of Sector 2, and then just a little bit behind him is going to be X hits the spot. So those two will be same lap times at about the same point. William Blau retires very early in the session and set a time of 1:30.180, and he must feel very confident because we only have 9 drivers who have set lap times. There's still a lot of variance that could happen.
Indeed, as well. We've got like 3 drivers setting the lap time right now. 2 are on out laps.
Of note for Boothie, Boothie went and tried to set lap times for the last 2 laps and was not able to do it either time. He'll finally get it done this time, jumps up to 6th, 1:30.193, and now exits the spot. Will go ahead and cross the line in just a few seconds, and he will post a lap time of 1:30. No, I'm wrong again, 1:29.622. You know what? I'm just going to keep saying 1:30 because every time I say 1:30, the drivers seem to set 1:29. So, Plastic Love, you get 1:30, Ocean Lion gets a 1:30, Constant Jet gets a 1:30, XRL X3 gets a 1:30, TRR Flavor gets a 1:30, Shoemaker gets a 1:30, Trey gets a 1:30, Stone Shuffle gets a 1:30.
Trey spun on his lap.
And he was in the middle of a flying lap as well. It's a very strange place to spin out at.
Caught
and a very strange angle as well.
Caught the curve in the corner and put the power down, and then that's him. Gone round. So he's now just gone back into the pit, so he'll set a lap time later on. In the session, Plastic loved and validated his lap. Quite a few drivers. There's a few
TIR
drivers.
Flavor is in the middle of a lap right now.
Alright, let's see how he does.
I'm actually going to be a little bit interested to see what TIR Flavor is able to do today. The last few weeks since he's joined XRL, he has made a reputation of himself of being extremely slow in pace, but being very clean and always being there, capitalizing on everyone else's time penalties to earn points. At one point in XRL, he finished 2nd just by virtue of having no time penalties, while everyone else was walking off with double-digit seconds worth of time penalties. Yesterday, though, I had to invalidate, but I do want to go ahead and finish what I was saying. Yesterday, Flavor was actually very racy, had a lot of pace in the first 20 laps of a 52-lap race, dragged his way up into the top 10 on pure race ability alone. He ended up earning time penalties and falling through the grid. Very not like him, but I'm interested to see if maybe things are turning around. He might actually be starting to find some level of pace in this game and might be able to actually vie for race, track, and position in the upcoming weeks.
Hopefully as well. Hopefully, because he looks like a good driver. And a nice guy as well, because I've been in a party with him a few times, speaking to him, and he's just a nice guy to be with. So hopefully he gets that form. Hopefully a few solid points finishes for AlphaTauri this season with Wildness and GTR as well. So it's good time. Hopefully good times for them in this season.
As we turn our focus back onto qualifying, I'm noticing a lot of drivers are having issue with invalidating their laps. Ocean Lion right now looks to be set to be the 12th driver set lap time, but I saw Constant Jet invalidate, I saw Fiend invalidate, Flavor invalidate, Plastic Love's invalidated. It seems to be an absolute mess out there for the X3 drivers being able to keep the car within the normal track limits.
Yeah. Schumacher's on a lap as well right now, but he's not validated so far.
Ocean Lion will cross the line with 1:30.341. Now we turn our focus to Schumacher in the Ferrari. Both Ferraris are out on track. Trey spun on his first attempt, so he's going for a second attempt. Schumacher, this will be his first attempt. Don't run too wide on exit of the corner. It's a good way to invalidate. The DRS pops open. He's leaning hard on the ERS, and at the line, he will go ahead and set a lap time of 1:29.9. That is the 5th best time that we've seen thus far today.
Here comes Flavor around that final corner. Out across the line, Fiend goes 5th, 1:29.823. And Flavor 15th with 1:31.0.255, should I say.
Alright, so now as it stands, TIR Flavor is the driver on the bubble, and will be Plastic Love, Constant Jet, Trey, and Stone Shuffle, who will be trying to bump him out. Plastic Love, 50.699 is a purple sector 2, as he makes that hard, high-speed, right-hand corner. Now into this long, sweeping roundabout-like section. And he invalidates. He cut it a little bit too tight and invalidated. And he's almost out of ERS. If I was him, I would go ahead and just bring it into the pits just to get ERS restarted and refuel up because he is so low on ERS right now. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's coming into the pits now. Stone Shuffle and Trey are both in the middle of flying laps right now. And Constant Jet is out on circuit setting up for a flyer. At the top of the time sheets right now, though, is Vertx 3546. He's been there pretty much since the start of the session. Mr. Anderson has been the closest driver to get to him with a 129.428. Alright, final corner for Stone Shuffle. He's going to try and knock TIR Flavor out of Q2 as he crosses the line. It's looking like a great time for him. Well, I guess I was wrong. 130.410, but he's still 14th thus far. Now the focus goes to the Ferrari of Trey as he rounds out of the final corner. The DRS pops open. He's laying hard on the ERS, and at the line, the Ferrari will set a lap time of 130.839. That's not good enough to get him in. That's only 16th fastest right now.
He should, oh,
wheel glitch. I think he's having the wheel glitch. I don't think the game let him steer. Well, he's got control back of the car now, but...
That was weird. Oh, no.
Like, it's not even like it didn't even look like he was trying to cut the circuit. He just went dead straight. It almost looked like there was a disconnect. Maybe he is cutting. I don't know. Well, we now know that if you cut the entirety of Sector 1 and cut the chicane on the back straightaway, you'll be roughly 4.8 seconds up on a time normally around this circuit. Yeah,
but
you know what, now I'm starting to think, oh, he goes around, and he's hard!
He's just hit that wall very hard. Bit of a shame, he's still going.
I have no idea if this is like part of some grand Ferrari master plan or what.
I don't think it is.
He's back in the pits. Yeah, I don't know. That was really, really weird. I don't know if he was just trying to cut the circuit to get back to the pits as soon as possible. Not be allowed, obviously. Or if there was something wrong with the wheel there. If he comes back onto the circuit real quickly, though, I think we can assume reasonably that he was just trying to cut the circuit. Constant Jet says a time of 131.055. That's not good enough. Again, so right now, Dave Ewart, 23, is on the bubble with a 130.679. Plastic Love is out on circuit going to try and knock him out. Plastic's teammate XRL X3 has set the 5th fastest time thus far and is already retired from the session. Red Bull doesn't look very happy. I'm seeing the front and back kind of seesawing back and forth. The car almost looks excessively neutral to the fact that any kind of input to the front or the back makes that part of the car turn way too quickly. Although he does look smooth going into and in the apex of the chicane in Sector 2. 49.971 at the end of Sector 2, so this could be a very good lap. Also of note, Constant Jet is still out on circuit just a little bit ahead. I don't know, I think Constant Jet, though, is going to try and come into the pits because his fuel is very low.
No, he's staying out.
Oh, look real quickly at Constant Jet, see if maybe with the low fuel, he might be able to set a slightly faster time. Right behind him is that Red Bull, and no, he's pulled over. So that's it, Constant Jet's not going to have a chance to do this. As Plastic Love crosses the line, 130.253, so he goes up to 13th. So now it is Schold who is on the bubble. Scholl's already aware, he's answered already. He's in Sector 3, preparing to go for another run at it. Constant Jet is... something. I'm guessing he's trying to get back onto the circuit safely and then bring it back in. This could be interesting, though, because Constant Jet doesn't have a whole lot of ERS, and its fuel light is on, so I don't know if he's going to be able to safely get back to the pits and also not impede other drivers' lap times.
Yeah.
KR Flavor is out on the circuit right now on another outlap. He's going to try and go a little bit faster. Dave Ewart, who's currently on the outside looking in, is also on an outlap, but we only have 24 seconds left. There's no way that I can see Dave Ewart making it to the start-finish line in time.
No, I don't think he is where he is right now. Yeah, he's slowed down, I think.
Schold is on a flyer right now, and TIR Flavor, will he make it to the start-finish line in time to start a flyer?
Yes, he has.
Yes, barely. It doesn't matter, though, because it was invalidated coming into this lap. So that means that for all intents and purposes, this session is over, and Schold can back it down, because Constant Jet can't go any faster. TIR Flavor is invalidated his lap before it even started. Dave Ewart's not able to go again, neither is Trey, so Schold is locked in.
Here we go. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. He spun
Exits
man.
the spot, just went to the top with a 129.185 in the Mercedes, waiting until the last moment to do it, but he has gone to the top as Schold has a little bit of a spin on his final lap, but again, it doesn't matter. He is already locked into qualifying session 2.
I think exits the spot as well. I think he wasted another set of softs as well to do that. So.
Indeed, he did. Also, note when Schold had that spin, the set of tires that he did that on already had 4 laps of wear on them. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Constant Jet very nearly bends the car coming into the pit lane.
Just waiting for Flavor now.
TIR Flavor. Yep. Once Flavor makes it into the pits, that will be it. But good job on exits the spot. I don't know if anyone was anticipating the Mercedes to throw on such a powerful lap time, 129.185. So now the question is, will we see drivers potentially break the 129 barrier in Q2 or Q3?
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see then on that one.
Don't know what's taking the game so long to end this session and get us to the next one. There we are. Alright. Well, Torpedo, do you want to real quickly run us down through the drivers that did and did not make the cut at the end of session 1?
Our eliminator, the drivers that are eliminated are TIR Flavor in the Alpha Tauri, Constant Jet in the Alpine, Trey in the Ferrari, and Dave Ewart in the Alfa Romeo. Schold, Ocean Lion, Plastic Love, Boofy, William Blau, Wild Missile GTR, Cowboy, Stone Shuffle, Fiend, Gusty, Mantic Mr. Anderson, Schumacher, Vertex, X and X hits the spot are all going through to Q2.
Alright, and one other thing to take note of the 15 drivers that make it in, they're all within about 1.2 seconds of each other. So this could get a little bit interesting in qualifying session 2. But the big thing about Q2, and we say this every single time, in fact, you could probably take a shot every single time we say it, and you get a nice buzz going on. Q2 is all about setting up your tire strategy. The top 10 drivers in Q2 advance to Q3, obviously, but they are locked into the tires that they set their fastest lap with. Drivers will sometimes will go out there on the mediums because they're like, oh yeah, mediums are the best thing to start with. And then they end up finding out that their medium times are not fast enough to get in. They throw strategy to the wind in the last 5 minutes, throw on a set of softs, and it makes things completely chaotic sometimes at the end of these sessions. Well, it looks like the first drivers to get onto the circuit. Gusty tried to be the first, but it's actually going to be... Who is that? Who just got out ahead of him? I'm trying to see who that is. It looks like the Haas of Scholl. Yes, it is Scholl that actually ended up beating Gusty out onto the circuit. Both these drivers have medium tires equipped. Right now, it looks like the spread is a little bit more favored towards the soft tire compound. 6 on the mediums, 9 on the softs. We could see that change as it goes forward, though. Room. Now we're starting to see Plastic Love coming out onto the circuit as well. So both Red Bulls are going to try and set lap times very early in the session. Boothie is out on the circuit, as is the AlphaTauri of Wild Nissan GTR. I believe this is Collie Boy now, who is just coming onto the circuit. Yes, it is, as he comes under that final Emirates Fly Better banner on the front straightaway. As it is right now, it will be Plastic Love will be the first driver to set a time. And the tides are now turning more in the medium tire compound's favor.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of drivers now just going out on those mediums. Collie Boy is actually one of them that's out on the soft, so he's one at Wild Nissan GTR. So see what they can do on their laps. Gusty will be the first one to set his lap time then on the mediums.
At the end of the front straightaway. Ooh, very nearly spun out there coming out of turn 2, but he was able to save it and get it pointed the right way, but that will compromise his lap time a little bit.
Ooh.
Coming up on Ocean Lion. Ocean Lion saw him coming, pulled off to the side to let him by, but did it really abruptly. Gusty not really fazed by it too much. Flying down that back straightaway, 203, maybe even 204 at the end. Nope, 203. So it looks like that Red Bull is topped out to about hit 203 on the straights here without any drafting help. At the end of Sector 2, he will set a time of 50.251. Excuse me. It's extremely wide. He gets lucky. It didn't invalidate it there. We saw his teammate Plastic Love in the last session invalidating that part of Sector 3. But Gusty is avoiding the same pitfall. So unless he makes a major mistake here, like running wide on exit of the final corner, he will set the lap time that everyone else will be chasing. Out of the final corner, straightens it up, a little bit of twitchiness. But the DRS is open, and at the line, he'll set a lap time of 1:30.462 on the medium tire compounds. He will be joined right afterwards by Scholl, who will set a lap time of 1:31.281. Then it will be right afterwards Ocean Lion, who is beginning a flying lap, and we will see Plastic Love spin around and come all the way around with a crazy spin out of the final corner. It's still legal, the lap is still legal, but he doesn't have much DRS left. He'll set a time of 1:38.586, and that would have been a better time if he didn't spin through the final corner.
Indeed. Next one. Oh, Boothie, one that goes second one with 30.858.
Wild Nissan set at 1:42.033, but it was invalid, and with the time being that slow, I have to wonder if he may have had a spin of his own somewhere that we just didn't catch.
Oh, Plastic Love's gone again.
I think for Plastic Love, the focus should be on just getting that Red Bull back in the pit lane and setting a new set of tires and refueling it, and also getting the ERS charged back up a bit.
Oh, Gusty's just off the circuit, breaking the brake markers.
Stone Shuffle is in the middle of a lap right now.
Here comes the McLaren, Ocean Line next one to sit the lap time in the session goes for 4 minute 31.288. So very close to Scholl's lap time.
7,000 separate those two right now. Though I imagine we'll probably see both of them come out and set better lap times as the session goes on. Collie Boy and XRL Fiend are both out on the track right now, setting up for Flyer. My focus is on the Mercedes Stone Shuffle. His teammate exits the spot, set the fastest lap time at the end of session 1. I'll be interested to see what his teammate can do now.
Oh, one miss.
Mercedes seems to be very planted.
Goes third, 1 minute 30.896.
He did that with the soft tire compounds as well. Here comes Stone Shuffle. The DRS opens up. He's laying on the ERS and across the line. We'll set a lap time of 1:30.853. As now 8 drivers have set lap times thus far in the session. Collie Boy is setting up to be the 9th.
Mantier Cat went 5th, 1 minute 30.974. On mediums, Collie Boy, who went out on softs earlier, went back in and is now on the mediums.
XRL Fiend has just crossed the start-finish line to begin his Flyer lap. And we'll see Mr. Anderson doing the same in about 30 seconds.
Plastic Love's gone out, is going to fit the softs, and now he's heading back out onto the circuit. Collie Boy almost lost it on that lap. Here it comes now. Final few corners.
Be careful putting the power down. You don't want to go too straight and invalidate, but you don't want to spin. He executed the final corner quite well, and now at the line, we'll go ahead and set a lap time of 1:30.472. That is the second fastest time we've seen thus far, and only a 100th off of Gusty's time. And Stone Shuffle to the top, 1:30.305.
Right, next one will be, to cross the line will be Fiend. In the Alpine, round the final corner. Opens that DRS now, it's just a run down to the line for him. Crosses the line, 1 minute 30.571, puts him 4th. And now Plastic Love is on the bubble in 10th. So that lap time needs to improve.
He's still on the soft tire compound, so he definitely has a chance of doing it, but the main thing is he just needs to not spin out in the final corner on his lap. Mr. Anderson coming into the final corner now. He will be the 11th driver to set a lap time and will easily knock Plastic Love's time out of the top 10, I imagine.
Should be. Cross the line, 1 minute 30.081.
That's why he's the points leader. Well, that's one of the reasons why he's the points leader. Schumacher SF7 is in the middle of a flying lap, as is Verti in the Williams.
William Blau is on the outlap in a McLaren. X hits the spot, is still in pit lane for now.
Not only is X hits the spot still in pit lane, they still have soft tire compounds equipped to that car right now.
I don't think he's confident enough that he could go through on mediums. And he'll just go on softs.
Schumacher has invalidated his lap. He still has a lot of ERS in the tank, though. I think he's going to stay out. Yes, it looks like Schumacher is going to stay out and go for another attempt at it with the fuel that he currently has on board. So it will be Verti who will be the 12th driver to set a lap time here, although Plastic Love will be following shortly afterwards and trying to set a time. He just needs to not spin through the final corner. Verti to the top. He breaks the 130 barrier. 129.949. Classic Love goes up to a 131.527. He's still the slowest of everyone who set a lap time thus far. So now the focus goes to Schumacher, and then right afterwards William Blau, as exits the spot, still has yet to make a move onto the racetrack.
Here comes Schumacher round that final corner. Opens the DRS, and it's a run down to the line for the Ferrari driver without his teammate today. Chubby IX Spark. He goes third, 1:30.222.
I'd feel very confident in that lap time myself, as the focus now goes to William Blau, and there's still no effort by X Hits the Spot in the Mercedes to come out onto the circuit. As it stands right now, Schold and Ocean Lion are on out laps, going to try and improve. They're on the outside looking in, as is Plastic Love. Mantic Meekrat is the driver on the bubble. William Blau could really upset things there if he sets a good lap. Down to it, the DRS pops up and he's laying hard on the ERS. Across the line, he'll set a lap time of 1:29.955 on the soft tire compounds. That's the fastest we've seen by the softs all day, and it's the second fastest time we've seen thus far. And Exits the Spot has finally come out onto the racetrack. As it is right now, Mantic Meekrat is on the outside looking in. Wild Nissan GTR is on the bubble as Boothie to the top, 1:29.676. There's the Boothie we all know and love, an absolute monster in qualifying. Right now, as he's in the middle of a lap trying to get off the bubble. Of note, Nissan is on the same set of tires he's gone for the last several laps, so these tires are going to start falling away real quickly here. He is down by 4/10 at the end of Sector 1. I mean, at the end of Sector 2, so I don't see Nissan improving as he spins around, and he's going to go not into a wall. Thankfully, the walls are too far away on this circuit. But I think his attempt at trying to get going here is basically over. There's just not going to be enough time for Nissan to go ahead. He's going to have to hope that X Hits the Spot and everyone else from Mantic Meekrat down to Plastic Love either can't set a lap or set laps that are significantly slower. Here's something else. I didn't notice this until just now. Anderson, Schumacher, Gussie, Sonshuffle, and Collie they've all retired from the session. So if a bunch of drivers slower down, suddenly come alive, and start saying some wild times, we could see some interesting people get bumped out of Q3. There are only 28 seconds left in the session, but it is a possibility. XRL Fiend is coming down, trying to make it to the start-finish line before the clock is over so we can set one more flyer. Mantic Meekrat jumps up to 5th, 1:30.180.
The Fiend's in the pits. Schold goes up to 11th if it's not enough for him.
But he's got a chance for one more lap, maybe. Ocean Lion will not make it to the line in time.
He didn't make the line.
So this is between Schold and X Hits the Spot. X is on the back straightaway right now. And apparently at the last minute, X decided to throw on medium tires. A very interesting choice. Schold also has medium tires equipped on that car right now.
His time. Schold is down with his time. It's all up to X Hits the Spot now to see if he goes through to Q3. Will he knock out XRL Fiend or will he go out?
Looking real quickly at everyone who has set their best lap time. Boothie, Blau, Anderson, and Meekrat all set their fastest lap times on softs. Oh, and X has spun! X has spun! Oh, the humanity, the fastest driver in qualifying session 1 has spun out on the money lap in qualifying session 2.
That's not what I need. He's still got it. No, but that's it though. That's him out. It's him out of the session. He goes into the pit lane.
And Scholl has also invalidated on his lap as well. So XRL Fiend is actually going to make it into the next round. I didn't see that coming. I did not put that on my bingo.
Crazy scenes at the end of the final Q2 in France. Luckily the exits the spot, didn't hit any walls, so not really any damage to that Mercedes car, which is good. But it does mean though he is out in Q2, unfortunately, so he's got to make it up in the race. But the people that are knocked out in Q1 and Q2 do get a free choice of tyres, so they might go in that hard and just drive till the rain comes.
That's what, like I said earlier, that's what I would consider doing. I think that's the best strategy you can have. Don't worry about overtaking anybody, especially if you're going to have a intermediate setup. Anyways, the drivers who advance: Boothie in the Aston, Verti in the Williams, William Blau in the McLaren, Mr. Anderson in the Aston Martin, Mantic Meekrat in the Williams, Schumacher SF7 in the Ferrari, XRL Gusty in the Red Bull, Stone Shuffle in the Mercedes, Collie Boy in the Alpha, and XRL Fiend in the Alpine. The drivers that do not advance, though, it's Schold in the Haas, William Nissan, GTR in the AlphaTauri, Ocean Lion in the McLaren, Plastic Love in the Red Bull, and X has the spot in the Mercedes. And here's something else to take note of. Williams, I believe, Williams and Aston Martin, I think, are the only team that have both of their drivers in Q3 here. Yeah, that seems to be the case. That could end up being very interesting. They might be able to, depending on how loyal they are, they might be able to try and pull off some weird drafting DRS shenanigans on the straights here. Alright, so now we prepare to get into Q3. I'm going to be 100% honest. The fastest driver, the driver that I would have put my money on to get pole today, did not even advance into Q3. That is X hits the spot. So now, I'm going to be honest, I think the run for pole is going to be a lot more open now than we were anticipating, because the fastest drivers in Q2, we don't really know what their times actually could be. Most of them set their times on soft tire compounds, while everyone else was on mediums and holding back in favor of strategy for the race itself.
There we go then, Q3.
For those of you who are watching on the broadcast, please stand by for just a minute. I'm going to resolve a quick technical difficulty. Visually, the stream might go down, but the stream is not ending. We will be back very shortly. I just want to take care of this small technical issue. Alright, and we are back. Apologize for that brief moment. Had to take care of a small visual issue on my end. We have returned. The first driver who's going to try and set a lap time here looks like it's going to be the Williams of VertiX.
Vertex is going to be the first one to set a lap time in Q3.
I'm interested to see what his speed is at the end of the front straightaway. 204 miles an hour, so that Williams seems to be really trimmed out for straight line speed at the moment compared to the Red Bull with XRL Gussie that we had been looking at earlier. Here comes Schumacher as F7 as he is crossing the start-finish line now to begin his flying lap. Everyone pretty much is out on circuit with the exception of Collie William Blau and Boothie. Those three have yet to come onto the track. Stone Shuffle is beginning his flyer. Mantic Meekrat is about to begin his flyer very shortly here. But the main driver we're going to be focusing on is Verti. As he is in Sector 3 already. Fuel light is flashing, so it's going to be this attempt, and then he's going to have to come right into the pit lane afterwards. Very hard on the ERS. Not as hard as I thought he would, but he is laying on it. And across the start-finish line, he'll set a lap time of 1:28.942, an incredible time. That will be what everyone else is going to be gunning for a while, as he's going to have to rush to get into pit lane. Here comes Schumacher, who's doing the same strategy. One blistering lap, and then will immediately have to come in afterwards. Coming in a line, the DRS pops open, and Schumacher will set a lap time of 1:29.359. Next driver across the line will be XRL Fiend. In the Alpine, he will set a lap time of 1:29.392. Then we are going to see Gusty, who is already brought back into the pit lane. So then the focus is actually going to go to Stone Shuffle, who's coming down to the line. And he will set a lap time of 1:29.477. Mr. Anderson will be the fifth driver to set a lap time in the session. To the top with a 1:28.680. Mantic Meekrat has invalidated the lap he's in the middle of. So it will be Collie Boy who will likely be the next driver to take a shot at a flying lap. We're going to go silent and right on board with Collie Boy for a flying lap here. See what he can do in the Alfa Romeo at France. Respectable lap time by Collie Boy with a 1:29.389, but only two drivers have broke the 1:29 window thus far. It's Mr. Anderson and Verti. Mantic Meekrat is on the run down, very nearly spins out in the entrance to the final corner. The fuel is low, but he's going to be able to set a lap time. The time he sets will be a 1:29.978. That is by far the slowest of everyone we've seen thus far. Boothie has spun out on his flyer now. Focus now goes to William Blau. 7 drivers have set lap times thus far. The spread from fastest to slowest is about 1.3 seconds. Verti is on an out lap. He's going to try and go again. He thinks he can go even faster. Gusty in the middle of a flying lap as well. Minutes left in the session, so there is enough time for Blau to put this lap down, come into the pits, and then rush out for one more lap if he makes it really quick. McLaren comes to the line. The only McLaren in Session 3 will set a lap time of 1:29.964. It's not a very competitive lap on his end either. Boothby, with that spin earlier, invalidated his first attempt, but he's setting up for another one. And Gusty, another aborted attempt at a lap. He's come into the pits. And time is running out quickly for Gusty. He's going to have to set a lap time sooner rather than later.
Indeed, Boothby's invalidated his lap, so he's still unable to get a lap time going.
It's not looking good for Boothby unless they have that Aston Martin loaded with a massive metric ton of fuel. I'm not 100% sure he's going to be able to get another flyer in. And for Gusty, electing to come back out into the pits, it's a really confusing decision. There's also Verti, who has invalidated this current attempt of his. And Mr. Anderson has just gone out again. He's going to try and go faster. He's already about 0.3 faster than Verti right now, but he seems to think he can really put the boot on everyone else's neck here.
Oh, and Gusty is out onto the track.
This is likely going to be Gusty's last chance at setting a lap time. Oh, and William Blau elects to retire from the session in pit lane, so he says that 1:29.964, he said that's the best he can do. So he's relegated to no better than a 7th place starting position.
I think, how can Gusty, do a good lap? Because it's his one and only opportunity. He's only got one chance to get it right. He cannot afford to make a mistake on this lap.
Yeah, we saw exits the spot, put himself in that same position in Q2, very plainly one of the fastest drivers through Q1, and then he puts it all on the line on a crazy lap in Q2 and spins and totally misses the shot for the pole. And Boothby's invalidated again, and with only 1 minute and 27 seconds left on the clock, I think that's it for him. If he makes it back to the line in time, I'll be interested to see, but I don't even know if he's going to have the fuel to go for another flyer.
Yeah, it's a real shame for Boothby though. He's been looking really good so far this week, this race, weekend, in qualifying, should I say. And yeah, just real shame. So.
Well, some other things to consider. With less than a minute left, Mantic Meatcrat has not come out of the pit lane, so William Blau will be starting somewhere between 7th and 9th as it is right now. XRL Gusty preparing to go for a flyer. Boothby invalid and will not be able to set that time at all. So actually, William Blau is locked into a 8th place starting position, maybe even 7th if Gusty throws it all away as he comes across the line.
Alright. Let's see what you can do. Boothby, I'll keep it. He might, yeah, he's gonna make it. Boothby will make it. I'll keep an eye. I'll just keep an eye on Boothby. Let's see what he does in this lap, if he invalidates or not.
The important thing to remember about Boothby is that he's been on the same set of tires and the same fuel tank this entire time, so it's going to be very iffy for him. And it's over for Boothie. And time's up. Over. Plow. So now it's all up to Gusty to see how far up the order he can put himself. This is his only shot at a lap time after coming onto the track twice earlier and then aborting in the middle of either an outlap or what was setting up to be a lap. 49.7 at the end of Sector 2.
Mr. Anderson cannot improve. Schumacher stays 4th fastest. Colour Boys invalidated. Fiends invalidated. So that's them done. They'll be likely to be 5th and 6th respectively. Stone Shuffle is on a lap. He's just heading into Sector 3 at the moment. But Gusty will be the next one to set a lap time in the session. In the final part of qualifying.
Be very careful not to spin out of that final corner. Alright, this will be it. His only attempt at a lap in the session. It's not going to be a great lap, I think. Oh no, it is! 129.222. That's good enough for 3rd. And what can Stone Shuffle do to respond?
3 tenths up.
He's up by 3 tenths.
It might be enough. It might get him into the 1:28, so he could get on maybe the front row. If he does this lap right. Round the final corner, brilliant. Now it's that run down to the line for him. Cross the line.
Nah, he lost it all in the last 2 corners. He actually was down by 17 thousandths. So it's Mr. Anderson and Bertie on the front row, Gusty and Stone Shuffle row 2, Schumacher SF7 and Collie Boy row 3, XRL Fiend and Willem Blau row 4, Mantic Mink Crap and Boothie row 5. For all intents and purposes, the session is now over. That was a relatively calm run for the entire qualifying session for almost everyone. There was like 1 or 2 drivers who had some really intense runs, but for the most part, most of the field was really calm. But anyways, I already went ahead, ran down the order. Interestingly enough, in my opinion at least, the spread from 1st to 9th, 1.2 seconds. So the gap actually ended up increasing amongst the top 10, top 15, going from Q2 to Q3. So, but again, remember, for the drivers who will start in the top 10, will be starting on the soft tire compounds, and 6 of them will be starting on mediums, and there is a very, very solid threat of rain in the latter stage of the race. And for someone outside the top 10, the strategy could very easily be throw on a set of hards and don't pit at all until rain is here.
Yep. Now we go. Now we're advancing now to the race.
Alright, so it'll be roughly a 5-minute break until we get into the race itself. And actually, looking at the clock, we're just a little bit behind schedule from where we normally would be. So.
Yeah.
Just stand by until we get into the race itself right now. Mr. Anderson, your points leader, though, taking the pole, setting himself very well up to continue walking away with this championship here.
Three more minutes and then we'll be going.
The sad thing is, I will fully admit this is kind of my problem, but we kind of ran out of things interesting to talk about during qualifying, the build up to qualifying, so it's just kind of awkward dead air right now. I don't exactly have like a sheet of paper or anything here with me. We're not in the point where we can talk about things like silly season or anything like that. XRL's silly season doesn't even work like that. Typically, it's just you get called up to the higher level if you win a championship in a lower one. And sometimes the same will take place for the second or third highest point finishing drivers. It can make for some interesting scenarios because sometimes you'll end up with drivers who fluked into a good championship run, ended up in a tier way higher than where they should be, and then vice versa. A really good driver can go on an absolute horrible season and be locked in a tier that he shouldn't be in for a while. That's just the way it is, and it's realistically, considering the spread of talent from top to bottom, it's kind of the best way that you can actually deal with stuff here. It'd be way too much of an issue to try and gauge all, about 65 to 80 drivers across X1, X2, X3, and Dev, and the various reserve drivers, all in a few week span between seasons. Well, I'll say this. I'm a little bit looking forward to this race because, I mean, we have so much runoff room that I think all the spins off of curbs and the chances when drivers end up dealing with wheel glitches, I think there's enough runoff here that they might be able to recover from them. Hopefully, fingers crossed. XRL Ozda, who was a multi-time winner in third championship points last season, was in the XRL race, and he was the only driver who got knocked out of the race yesterday due to such a glitch. All the other retirements were typically due to drivers having to leave due to short notice. So, again, I'm looking forward to seeing most of the field running at the finish today, unlike pretty much every other race this season, which has been it's been a piece of work, let's just say.
Looking at the drivers on the tires from Ocean Line and 13th, Ocean Line 13th and Plastic Glove 14th are on the hards. So as Flavor and Constant Trey, Dave Ebar exits the spot, while Nissan GTR and Schold are on the mediums outside the top 10. So William Blau, Matic Meerkat and Boofy, they're 8th, 9th and 10th, and they're both on the softs, and the guys in front of them are all on mediums, so I'll dispatch of those guys quickly and just build a gap for the rest, just before the first pit stop, and I think, yep, we're about to get going.
I'm still stuck on the waiting for players scene. I'll be interested to see if Boothie can do it. Boothie's normally been strongest in qualifying and then falls off in the race. Normally, we see him starting near the front 2 or 3 rows in X3 and then falling through the field. He's starting a lot farther back than normal. He has to hope that he can do something a little bit uncharacteristic of himself today.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Oh, gone.
And it's lights out, and away we go here. Right off the back, Mr. Anderson seems to be pulling a massive gap on Verti as they're going down the straight. Everyone's pulled off the start-finish line relatively smoothly. There's a move by Gussie to try and get by the Mercedes and the Red Bull. The Red Bull gets knocked off the circuit, and now Gussie's falling to fall to 5th, and Shoulders out of the race already. And Plastic Glove's been around in an instant as well. And Stone Shuffle, the front end of the car completely destroyed. It's a virtual safety car right at the start. I guess I got a little bit too excited about the prospect of a clean race start.
William Blouch just followed Daniel, so I think he had a collision as well. But I think Schultz just, I don't know what happened with Shield, to be honest, but we'll try and get him in, see what he's got to say. I'll probably do play with him, but I don't think, depends if he wants to speak with us about that incident. But also Jet and Trey both have 5-second time penalties for which is safety car. Here comes Shoal.
Shoal, go ahead and include your audio. It's a travesty to have to talk to you so soon, but what in the world happened out there?
Someone span in front of me, I just tried to avoid him, hit someone else, and then I span into the wall. Yeah. That was it, unfortunate really. Bit of bad luck.
Alright, well now the question is, do you think you'll be able to recover from this in the upcoming week's races?
Oh yeah, of course. I'll be back.
Alright, done. Alright, we'll be looking forward to that then as we turn our focus back onto the racetrack. Mantic Meatrat is coming into the pits. William Blau is coming into the pits as well to repair damage. TIR Flavor is coming. No, he's not. I'm sorry. The way the pit lane entrance is, it really mixes with things as they're coming onto the circuit. As we turn our focus to the front of the field, the top 2 is still Mr. Anderson and VertiX.
TIR Flavor has left this session, it says, because of the big X on this Ocean Line just fighting past it, trying to go side by side with him, but backs off, so the 8 just struggling to get past that AI car. It's right up his gearbox. Here comes Flavor, has joined, so that move needs to get done by Ocean Line. Very quickly. Oh! Trace spun round in the background.
Coming
in the
onto
Ferrari,
the back
dropped down to
straightaway.
16th.
And Schumacher is not going to be happy to hear that because Ferrari had been doing very good in the Constructors' Championship. But if Trey is falling this far off the pace this early, it's not going to be a good run for him.
The Plastic Love's got 3-second time back from all board as it gets past the McLaren at Ocean Line. I think he's going to go side by side with TIR Flavor in the fast right hand, I should say. But Flavor gets the position. Well, Flavor has to see defeat of the position, and Plastic Love is up to 13th place at Ocean Line. That win, Flavor almost lost it. Round the outside, there was contact.
And Flavor's around.
Oh, that was not good. Almost hit Trey.
That was a Yankee bird.
The RS has been enabled, but unlucky for Flavor though. Right, there's a long way to go in this race though for him, and hopefully he can make up for a few more positions to other people that having incidents. But
a little bit farther up in the field, I'm taking a look at Boothie, who is close in on Schumacher, and then a little bit farther up from there, you also have XRL Fiend, who is closed in on Gussie and actually has DRS that he can use against fans. Gussie has the same thing he can do against Stone Shuffle.
Constant Jet and Wild Nissan GTR are battling for 11th place right now. Bit of a tire difference. Constant Jet is on the hards, while Nissan's on the mediums. But Constant Jet down the inside on the DRS. Is he going to get it? Push, squeezes Wild Nissan up, and he gets up into P11. But does Wild Nissan continue to fight back heading into the fast right-hander? No, he doesn't. He's too far back. Constant Jet up in place as X hits the spot. He's gone past Dave Ewart, but one this time he's got back past Constant Jet because I think he went wide with the exit off the right-hander.
Oh, Boothie got a little bit sideways, bounced off of Schumacher, and Schumacher gets spun in the fourth to last corner, and Schumacher falls down to 10th. Might even lose that here to Wild Nissan.
DRS isn't named right now. He's Schumacher. It's going to be a big battle. He's concentrating on another bite of the cherry here. But while this side's is wanting to get Schumacher down the inside, but it doesn't work. He's got nothing. He cannot make the move. Concentrate's gone wide once again, and I think he just conceded defeat to Plastic Love and Ocean Lion, who were behind him. And he's just emerged of the circuit in a safe manner, which is very good for Constant Jet, but I think he's really struggling. He might have some damage on that car, because if he's been going wide for the past few corners there. While this side goes a bit wide, heading onto the back straight. What happens here? I think we'll have a look further back. Well, nothing's really happening. It's just a bit of a DRS trade from Schumacher to Constant Jet. The moves are going to be really made.
A little bit further up the grid, Fiend got by Gusty going down the back straightaway. He's moved up to 4th now, and he's going to start putting his sights on the Mercedes Stone Shuffle, but he needs to get away from Gusty as Gusty throws it up the inside. Can't make it stick, but the Red Bull does not feel happy about losing that 4th position. It is still a very active fight for the 4th and 5th spots. This is exactly what Collie Boy wants to see, because if they keep it up, it will bring him up into the fight.
Also, I think that might have helped Trey as well in the Ferrari with this battle for like to 14. So really interested to see what will happen here. Is one this side going to try and make a move this lap? Plastic Love's got a 3-second time penalty. Again, I think that's one of quite a few penalties right now. That's about 6 already, so not looking good so far. Really struggling one this time to get that move past the Ferrari, but I think the Ferrari of Schumacher is slightly pulling away from that train.
It looks to me like although Nissan is relatively good in the straightaways, he's struggling significantly through the corners, and that's letting Schumacher pull away. Oh, Nissan had a horrible run onto the back straightaway. Plastic Lug with a huge momentum, and here comes Ocean Lion. It's the same thing. He's going to lose 2 positions in a straight, might even lose 3 if Constant Jet wants to try something.
Brilliant. A bit unlucky for one this side. He's then got the 2 drivers on the hard have just passed him on the back straight. Is Constant Jet going to make a move? No, I don't think he will. So he just needs to pick himself up and just gain momentum back again. We still don't know roughly what lap that this rain can come. It can come at any time, but as soon as we see those dark clouds starting to form on the track, which we're not seeing right now, it's just all clear skies, we'll know when that rain will come.
Here comes Constant Jet. He's got a huge run on Wild Nissan. Going to try and make a move on pure driver skill. Exits the spot in the pits. Oh, contact! Nissan runs Constant Jet off the circuit in the apex of the final corner. No damage to the Alpine. He's going to live to fight another lap.
And exits the spot, comes in for a set of medium compound tires. And at the moment. Right, this is it. Right, Plastic Love's going to have to deal with the McLaren behind him. He wants to make progress past Schumacher, but he's going to have to deal with that McLaren who looks feisty, looking up for a fight.
Love was not close enough to Schumacher to get a DRS, but Ocean Lion has it on Plastic Love. The gap's closed within a 1/3 of a second. Now a 1/4 of a second, a 1/5 of a second, but it opens back up in the braking zone as they go through the chicane. And there's been an overtake. Mr. Anderson has had a spin out of the lead. Mr. Anderson, your race leader and pole sitter, has spun out of the top spot, and that gives the top spot to Verti. Stone Shuffle moves up to 2nd, and now Gusty and Fiend have a chance to go
Ocean Line just received a 3-second time penalty from open warning. That's his first of the session. On lap 7, 20 laps to go in this race. We've seen quite a few drivers get their EU penalties, which you don't want to see at this stage in the race. Bean's got a 3-second time penalty as well, but is Ocean Line going to get plastic love? I don't think he will. Yellow flags.
TR Flavor has had another spin farther back in the field.
Shame for them. While they sell a constant jet, they're battling. Heading that turn 2, side by side. Bang wheels. Down the inside, constant jet goes into turn 3. But the contact's been made, and constant jet's been spun round.
Fiend has just gotten by Gusty, and now Gusty is fighting back. Mr. Anderson and Stone Shuffle are in a fight as well, and Anderson has recovered up to the second position. Gusty has gotten back by Fiend.
One this time just didn't give the room for constant jet on the inside. Just took the racing line. Just didn't. I don't think he seen constant jet just going on the inside. But they were pretty much like they were side by side pretty much. But that will be one for the stewards after the race, definitely, because that one, it's a clear, dangerous move there, I think, from one to
William Blau completes an overtake on Trey on the exit of that backstretch chicane, and Fiend is trying to work on Gusty, but Gusty has DRS on Stone Shuffle. Stone Shuffle has DRS on Mr. Anderson. It's a DRS train from 2nd to 5th. No one's able to make any moves as they go into turn 1.
And Plastic Love's led back in DRS to Schumacher, so that's not helping Ocean Line. William Blau is going to the pits, so that releases Trey and puts him up into P12. Constant Jet's up in position into P13. Dave Ewart for Atlantic Meerkat battle, I think, it seems.
Here comes Fiend to the inside of Gusty, going to the backstretch chicane. But he cannot complete the overtake. Stone Shuffle is losing touch with Mr. Anderson, and that means that Stone Shuffle is going to be Gusty's biggest help here. As long as Gusty is within DRS range of the Mercedes ahead, he has a shot of holding on to that 4th position.
Schumacher is really holding on to P8 at the moment, not making any progress to catch up to Boofy. All he's doing is he's just keeping that Red Bull behind him for the time being. Exits the spot. He's managed to get past Flavor. Oh wait, Flavor's stationary on the track. Oh, no, he's not. Yellow flag. Oh, Davey Wart's been spun round. I think he was with Mantic Meerkat, so it let him spin out on his own. Significant damage on that
has
car.
come into the pits, as has Wild Nissan. TIR Flavor, oh wow! Exit spot nearly runs over TIR Flavor as Flavor backed off to not run in to the pitting car of Mantic Meerkat.
Mantic Meerkat's in the pits, he's got no front line. I think he was involved with the incident with AB1. So, big incident there, and there's a Ferrari going slowly out of his tray. I think he got past Constant Jet and Boofy for some reason. Exits the spot. Flavor's up to P13 at the moment. Mantic Meerkat's on the hard competition while Dave's out on the medium, so now they're at the back, quite far off from each other. William Blau gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits.
Boofy overtakes Constant Jet now. Another battle to keep note of is Plastic Love is getting closer and closer to Schumacher as this race has gone on. Schumacher's medium tires seem to be falling off just a little bit faster than anticipated. And then also, Fiend is going to have another shot at Gusty, but Gusty still is trying to make something happen with Stone Shuffle. He goes to the inside of the Mercedes going into turn number 1. The Red Bull around the Mercedes through turn 1. Gusty promotes himself up into the 3rd spot, and now Stone Shuffle is trying to hold off Fiend. Derek Race for 4th,
Schumacher's into the pits. He got a 5-second time penalty for speeding. Into the pits he goes, and he's going to be quite. And he's serving that 5-second. Exits the spot, is spun round, and he's fit the hard compound tyre. New front wing as well from Schumacher, so he was dealing with front wing damage. So that's something we did not know that happens during this that little stint.
Schumacher, this is a nightmare for him. In the now neither Ferrari is in the points paying positions, while Mr. Anderson and Boothie are both in points paying positions. So as it stands right now, this would continue to let Aston Martin's Mr. Anderson extend the lead in the Drivers' Championship and would put them in a great position in the Constructors' Championship. Bean is pitting out of the top 5, so that means that Gusty will go into 3rd and Stone Shuffle is 4th.
Schumacher on Nissan GTR in the next battle from back in the field.
To the inside goes the Ferrari. Neck and neck for this high-speed, near full throttle corner. And it looks like Schumacher gets it as Nissan has to back out. Collie Boy is also elected to come into the pit lane as well. They are throwing on a set of soft tires on that car.
No, shoot, Mantic Meerkat and Davey Water continuing the battle that happened earlier before their incident. Probably just, not Collie Davey Water, should I say, just ahead.
Trey has come into the pit lane to throw on a set of hard tire compounds. Also, of note right now, Plastic Love, who started on the hard tire compound.
Oh, Schumacher's gone. Turn 1 and turn 2 as well. That compact Socorro's. No damage on that car, it seems, but I think he just spun round on his own, or he got contact from one Nissan's car. He got nothing, no damage on that car.
At the back of the field, Mantic Meerkat is mustering a challenge against Dave Ewart for position. VertiX is just pitted out of the lead, and that will give Mr. Anderson the top spot back for now. But the interesting thing to consider is that as it is right now, Plastic Love and Ocean Lion, who started on hard tires outside of the top 10, have worked their way up into 5th and 6th position, and they're still in a really, really good spot. I honestly think that Love and Ocean Lion might force themselves into being a factor for the podium when the rain comes. Fiend overtakes Ocean Lion for a 6th spot, though. Fiend is significantly faster than everyone else because he has the medium tires, and they are fresh mediums as well. Boy now working on Ocean Lion. Ocean Lion will have DRS off of Fiend that he can use as a defense, but Collie Boy has a massive run. He looks to the inside. It's going to be a drag race into the braking zone, and it looks like the Alfa Romeo is going to take 7th from Ocean Lion.
Boothie has spun round, but I think he's got himself back going again. No damage onto that car. What battle? There's no... Oh, Schumacher's gone again. Struggling on those hards. Ferrari is just not
nightmare race for the Ferraris today.
Yeah, not the race for them today. Just constant spins at the moment. And
the top 3 are all pitting at the exact same time. Mr. Anderson, Gusty, Stone Shuffle. Of note, Anderson is throwing on hard tire compounds. Gusty and Stone Shuffle are equipping softs. Verti is overtaken too. Verti overtakes 3. Verti goes back to the top spot. By a massive margin, Verti is now going to be more than 3.5 seconds ahead of Mr. Anderson, it looks like. Stone Shuffle falls all the way back to 7th behind Ocean Lion.
Fiend with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Penalty situation like Fiend's on 11, Schumacher's is on 11. So Anderson gets another penalty, and that is him on 8. So penalties are not. Some of them, like Schumacher and Fiend, they're, well, Fiend especially, he's got to be worried. Meanwhile, Stone Shuffle goes back, is just breezing past Ocean Line. He has got the tyre advantage, but I don't think Ocean Line will really want to fight a guy on softs for like that for a long amount of time, especially with the hard compact tyre on that's 12 laps old. And with rain on the way, he doesn't want to make contact with any other driver, get damage, which forces him to pit early, especially with the rain on the way, because it'll just be a waste of time, really, I think. Plastic Love in 8th, a little bit 4 seconds behind, then there's Constant Jet, yellow flag,
Ferrari spin.
Trey's gone. Round, and I think he's just hit the wall. Plastic Love's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Trey's just still stuck on that wall. Oh, there we go. So he's a bit shaded.
Ocean Line is pitting. They're taking off the hard tire compounds from that McLaren.
So is the rain coming? We don't know yet. There's nothing, no new developments on the weather.
Well, we're now halfway through the race, and the sky still looks relatively clean, honestly. I hate to say it, but the rain that was talked about coming might not actually materialize, or if it does, it may materialize so late that the track won't wetten up. For drivers like Plastic Love, Constant Jet, and Ocean Line, they may be jumping on to softs or mediums now, just on the chance, a very strong chance, I think, that the rain doesn't show up at all.
Yeah. Still, Matic Meerkat is struggling to get past Dave Ewart. Adrian Williams, he goes down the inside, heading into turn 1. Nope. Was it there? But like Dave goes wide into turn 2 on the exit of turn 2. This is what happened with Constant Jet earlier on in the race. He got spun out, but this time nothing. Matic Meerkat doesn't go for the move. He stays in P16, and Schumacher's actually getting into this fight as well. Ocean Line just passed his teammate William Blau for P10.
Trey is spun around again.
Not the best
day for Ferrari. If this keeps up, Trey is going to go a lap down.
Yeah, he will. In a bit. Gusty with the fastest lap of the race.
Trying to make something happen against Fiend before his soft tires fall off. He's staying within about half a second of the Alpine ahead of him.
Wow. Both AlphaTauri teammates are trying to are having a little battle. One this side, right the outside of Flavor, up into P13. Goes one of the AlphaTauris. So not really, no team orders really at AlphaTauri at the moment.
I mean, neither of them are within points main position, so
yeah. All four on the same time, but one this is fresher hards.
I imagine we're still going to see pit stops by Gussie, Cullyboy, and Stone Shuffle. XRL Fiend might have tires that can go to the end, and then for Verti and Mr. Anderson, they'll be good to the end. That is all under the assumption, though, that rain does not come, or if rain does come, it comes late enough that it doesn't dampen the track. Cullyboy with a huge run on XRL Fiend, going down the main straightaway. He's going to get by and complete the overtake. So move the Alfa Romeo up into the 4th position. Fiend going to try and fight back in the upcoming set of corners, though. Also, even farther back, Mantic Meekrat dealing with Schumacher. Drag race out of that backstretch chicane, and Schumacher goes up into 16th. Still way out. Oh, and he spins! He spins on the entrance to the following corner and goes way off circuit in the process. There must be something wrong with the way those Ferraris are set up, because there is no car I've seen today more than the Ferraris.
Yeah. So many, there's so many spins as well.
Fiend gets the position back against Collie through the DRS and the chicane on the back straightaway. Although Collie is trying to fight back and has brought Zone Shuffle on the Mercedes up to the fight as well. We may see a three-way fight for fourth very shortly here. Fiend gets back ahead of Collie now, for now.
Davey Watt 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. At the moment, there's starting to become a gap between Mantic Rickett and Davey Watt for 15th position. I think Mantic, the hard tyres will offer him the Williams driver. Now it's the point of the race where the fields, back end of the field started to spread out. Moment.
There's one other battle to take note of, and that is the one that has just formed for a lead. Mr. Anderson started on the pole, led the first several laps before spinning out on his own and falling through the field. Now Mr. Anderson is closing back in on Verti. He has DRS on the leader. We could see an overtake for a lead very shortly here.
We could trade one more. He's probably trades one more spin away from getting lapped at this point. And dark clouds are starting to form around the circuit. It's starting to get darker, so maybe we could be seeing something happen.
This would be perfect for Plastic Love and Constant Jet, who are still on the same set of hard tires that they started this race off with.
Yeah, I think they're getting quite sick of it. Oh, Trey's gone round again, heading up into the penultimate corner, or the penultimate corner. And now he's a lap down.
Trap him a lap down. Gusty is coming into the pits. I'm sorry, I saw that wrong. I thought Gusty was coming in. I read that wrong. Here comes Mr. Anderson. He's got the run on Verti for the lead. He goes to the outside, what will be the outside of turn one. Easily completes the overtake before even getting to the braking zone. Mr. Anderson is going to try and complete a Danny Sullivan style spin and win here.
Got a Plastic Love's on 15 seconds of penalties right now, and he's in 8th at the moment, so just stay within 15 seconds of him, I guess. There's a battle forming for P11 between the Mercedes of X Hits the Spot and William Blau. William Blau is on 9-lap-old softs. X Hits the Spot is on 12-lap-old hards. So the soft tires are starting to go off now for McLaren, and this is what X Hits the Spot is going to use that opportunity to try and get past him up into 11th place. The Mercedes. So far, not really much has happened really. We've had a few spins, mainly from the Ferraris, but no real crashes yet.
Sold has been the only one at the very start of the race, but other than that, yeah, 18 of our 19 stars are still on the track.
Plastic Love on 18 seconds of penalties there, because he's just got another 3-second time penalty. He's one away from DSQ. Exits the spot, gets past William Blau on the DRS straight up at the P11. And can he pull away from the McLaren that's struggling on those soft compound tyres and try and catch up to some of the drivers further up the field? But
so
maybe
I'm looking at time penalties real quickly here. Things aren't over for Verti yet. Even if Mr. Anderson is plainly faster than our second place driver, Mr. Anderson has 8 seconds worth of time penalties while Verti has none. If Verti can keep that up, he still has a chance of sneaking the win away off of penalty count back. Oh, Mr. Anderson messed up under braking. Verti gets back by him.
Mantic Meerkat, another 3-second time penalty if I
For the lead, Mr. Anderson back on the inside, neck and neck.
Still try to see if anything happens.
Contact, and Anderson runs Verti off the circuit. right now, it looks like Anderson's pulling away from Verti just a bit. But Verti was within DRS range the prior lap, and when Anderson locked up under braking, the Williams was able to make a lunge for it.
It's raining. It's just started to rain. I'm on board, exits the spot, and I'm seeing raindrops coming down onto the circuit, onto the car.
Well, I guess now see it also. On the front straightaway, right on board with Verti, rain is beginning to fall. So now the question is, how long do you wait until the track is soaked? Do you throw on intermediates, or do you elect throwing on intermediates immediately, run the risk of chunking the tires apart too fast? For Constant and Plastic Love, though, the choice is obvious. Plastic Love immediately coming into the pit lane, and he will be throwing on intermediates, I imagine.
We'll have a look. We'll have a look at this pit strategy. Yes, it is. It's a new front wing and a set of intermediate tyres going onto that car. William Blau is also coming in with the McLaren. So I think it's also it's going to be a set of intermediate compound tyres. Indeed, so two drivers already making that change. But the thing is, though, we'll see how they do on this lap. If they're doing good on that tyre, it's ready. But I don't think it is. It's just started to rain coming down now, so there's no way that this track is ready for those intermediate conditions for tyres. But we will see the drivers if they're going good, if they're catching up to the cars in front. And we're seeing that it's ready we're ready for it.
If the track gets wet enough, fast enough, we'll see DRS get disabled, and then every overtake will be 100% driver skill. And a track like this is very hard to make overtakes whatsoever. Our top three are staying out for the moment, though.
Plastic struggling, constantly losing that back end on the onboard.
Magic Meatcrat has overtaken William Blau as well for a 15th position.
Yeah, I don't think it's ready just yet. But you see, you now see it now. The rain is just falling down into the circuit. Trey's got a 3-second time penalty. I think as well, Tiara Flavor and Dave Ebar is going to go side by side for the fast right-hander. No, Dave Ebar backs out of it. Plastic Love, I think, goes a bit wide. Flavor, both of them go wide, and Dave goes through up into P12. And Plastic Love's just lost 2 positions in one corner. TR Flavors up to P13, pretty much where he was before, and now Plastic Love's really starting to struggle at this moment, but I think he will stick with what he's doing for the time being. Now he goes back in the pit lane.
Here comes the move, Verti to the inside of Mr. Anderson, neck and neck for the lead. And Verti goes back around Mr. Anderson now.
Let's see. Plastic Love's back onto the softs. So he thinks it's not ready, and this is a big gamble though. If he's it's a very big gamble at the late stage of the race, because we don't know how this race is going to change.
Well, as the leaders come across the line, it's going to be 6 laps to go. If the track even gets
Trey's
soaked
gone.
at this point, would jumping on to the intermediate tires make up for the loss of time that you would see drivers struggle if the track gets soaked? We honestly might see drivers electing to stay on track on worn slicks in order to not lose the 15-25 seconds of time that you would lose coming into the pit lane. Collie Boy, Fiend, Cossajet, all have come into pit lane now. Mr. Anderson has just gotten back by Verti as Verti has slid off circuit. I think the track might gain soaked now. Collie Boy is throwing on intermediate tires. Fiend is throwing on softs. Bookie has come into the pits now.
Trey's off again. He's back going again. Now I think this is where Plastic Love's really regretting that decision. I think, yeah, but it looks ready. Look, because you see the raindrops just falling onto that circuit. So we are seeing intermediates being probably could be effective now.
The battle for a lead is still very much alive. Verti has earned a time penalty for track violations. There's been a spin. That's Stone Shuffle, who has had a spin and ripped off the entire front wing. Virtual safety car. This is perfect for the top 2. They're likely going to come into the pits now. No, Anderson came in, but Verti is staying out another lap. This might give Mr. Anderson track may not be dry enough for Verti to be able to stay out and open up a gap on Anderson. Gusty is coming in as well out of 3rd position. Stone Shuffle in 4th is going to have to come in because he has the entire front wing demolished on that car. And Gusty equipped soft tire compounds.
It looks DRS is well. That's just because virtual safety car has ended. But the DRS is still enabled as well, so we don't know what's going on.
Oh, this is gonna get crazy. The gap from 1st to 2nd, 26 seconds, gonna be 27 seconds actually. Wild Nissan GTR has just had an incident. He's back on the way though.
Meanwhile, Stone Shuffle in pits, he's on that intermediates. Ocean Line's just in the pits now, fitting those intermediate compound tires on him right now. I think he'll come out in 8th.
Mr. Anderson. So even on the intermediates, Mr. Anderson is not keeping up with Gusty on softs. So maybe Verti did make the right decision to stay out. Thing is, this track is only getting wetter, and we still have 4.5 laps to go.
On Nissan 5-second tire penalty for speeding in the pit lane as he goes into the pit lane. 19 Meerkat 5-second tire penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And I think that's him. That's about 23 seconds of tire penalties right there. So that's a DSQ for the race. But he's not even running. He's not running at the points anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I think.
Wild Nissan, Davey, Romantic Meerkat, Schumacher, all coming in. They're all going to equip intermediates. Will the leader, Verti, come in to equip intermediates? No, he is staying out another lap on the hards.
Exits the spot as well as on 17 lap old hards. And he's running in P6 at the moment. We'll see if his teammates Stone Shuffle can really push on and try and catch up with him.
It's this is nuts.
Trey's gone.
4 laps to go. It's 4 laps to go, and the track is only getting wetter. But the gap that Verti has over Mr. Anderson is 24 seconds. It's shrinking, but it's there. Gusty is on fresh, soft tires, but those fresh softs aren't going to give him much benefit if the track gets excessively wet. It is a fight between Verti and Mr. Anderson for this race win right now. Can Verti stay out on the hards and keep the gap open far enough to stay ahead of Mr. Anderson? Gusty cuts the circuit. He does not have grip in the softs.
Trey got a 10-second tire penalty for exceeding track limits. He goes into the pit lane. Hits that one. Hits it. Hits the spot. Is into the pits for intermediates. He's been on those hard tires for quite a few laps now. So he comes now. I think he'll be Plastic Love's got a 3-second tire penalty. That's his race done. DSQ. Kablam exits the spot. Will come out in P8. Trey has left the session.
Pits, apparently.
DRS has been disabled. That's it. Intermediates. It is. It's intermediate conditions. Now's the time. If you haven't done it already, you need to get those tires on now.
I don't think Verti cannot afford to do that, though. If Verti goes ahead and pits to put on intermediates, he loses his shot at the win. Verti is going to try and run these last 3 laps on hard tires.
It's gonna be what? It's gonna be quite close, I think, to the end, really.
But Verti has a 19-second gap over Mr. Anderson. I don't know if Mr. Anderson can close what's going to be 6 seconds a lap on Verti. If Verti can just keep from speeding up, it's in contact with the lap car plastic glove. The front wing's taken off. Gusty rammed Verti right into the outside wall. Gusty just not Gusty. I'm sorry, it was plastic glove. Plastic glove body slammed Verti into the outside wall. And now Verti has no front wing. What should have been a dramatic race win has just been invalidated by plastic glove slamming the Williams. And that means that it's going to be now between Gusty and Mr. Anderson for the win. And with the way the track is getting wetter, I see no way that Mr. Anderson can't get by Gusty in these final laps.
Gusty with 3-second tire penalty. We've got Plastic Love and Romantic Meerkat their race. Plastic Love, he's getting a DSQ anyway, so it's not looking good for him in this race. Another time penalty for him for corner time. But just a shame for Vertex as well, because he was looking on course for that race win. And now he's not going to probably get points finishes, it seems, I think. With this, Romantic Meerkat 10-second time penalty for C track limits. I think he's just cut off chicane. On the straight, he is on intermediate, so he's struggling. Vertex has got a tactic to play for XC track limits. Magic Meerkat is out of the race. He has just crashed. I don't know how he's done that. Plastic Love's got no front wing as well. How did he manage that? I don't know.
I don't know, but he's gone way off circuit.
Yeah. Vertex gets another 10-second time penalty for XC track limits. I don't know what's. He's really struggling with those. Got no front wing and dry tires right now. There comes Plastic Love into the pits. I think he'll be. What he will do. Into the pits he goes. He'll be going on to another set of softs. I don't know why he's not fitting on intermediates. Oh, I don't think there is a point really because it's lap 26 of this race. I think. Well, he's already lapped. I think. He'll come out and
for
he'll just
all
stay in
intents and
16th.
purposes, the race is over. Verti is going to lose a chunk of time because he just got numerous penalties after the accident.
Yeah, 2 10-second time penalties I think it was because he's now on to 20 something penalties right now. Or 23.
has had a spin going through the chicane. As it is now. Oh, X has a spot, so he'll overtake Cossack going down the main straightaway. With 2 laps to go for Mr. Anderson, the race basically backed its way back into his hands. A little bit of clever playing on his part, but I don't know if Mr. Anderson would have been able to catch and overtake Verti if Verti didn't get wrecked by Plastic Love.
Yeah, and I think it's a real shame for him. We'll see him
Schumacher,
Plastic
another
Love
spin.
get punished for Plastic Love
Plastic
is
Love
retired.
gets out of the session now. He's had an accident on the back straightaway.
Yeah, very, just getting on the exit, too much power. Blam, whoa. Oh, it didn't help anyway, because, well, the 2 drivers that were probably are regarding the disqualification due to accumulating too many penalties will have crashed out in the last few laps.
Interestingly enough, Gusty and Fiend are still staying on track on the soft
Posted Jet's
tires.
gone round. He's gone round. He's going to have to wait a long time. Just reverse, constant, just reverse. And just get them back on safely, please. Hold on.
Fiend and Gusty are both on track to still finish top 5. And for Gusty, podium. And they're still on the soft tires. I don't know how they've done it, but they're still on soft tires and haven't crashed out or totally spun out yet. Collie Boy's going to overtake Gusty for second now.
Ponce Jetson, another accident on the exit of the fast left-hander. Right-hander. Yeah, no significant damage to the car, but those tires are going to be roasting on the rears. Davey Watt for a second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's him up into 12 seconds of time penalties. Yeah, I think.
Stone Shuffle moves by.
Gusty. Gusty's gone. He's went off. Stone Shuffle, now's your opportunity. Fiend almost goes off. Now's Ocean Line's opportunity. The drivers are on the dry compound tyres are starting to feel the effects of the weather at the end. Fiend, he's really struggling, you can tell, because look how much Ocean Line's caught up to him. Ocean Line goes on, goes down the inside of him, up into P5. He could get P4 here, off of Gusty due to him struggling on the dries. Fiend will get past him.
He's got it.
Into P6.
Mr. Anderson has crossed the start-finish line for the win. Collie Boy is coming down to take home second. Stone Shuffle is going to be in an amazing position. He's going to finish third with no time penalties whatsoever. Exits the spot, might be able to get Gusty here.
He does. He's on the inside. He could get Fiend on the line.
He's going to get him on penalty count back. Collie
Fiend,
Boy crosses the line second.
Both drivers are really struggling right now. Some Shuffle gets P3, and Ocean Line will cross the line. He'll get P4. Brilliant race from him.
X hits the spot, is going to out-drag Fiend, and he will actually take 5th position.
Fiend will get 6th.
Gusty 7th.
Yeah, he's run out of fuel, that's why. He's run out of fuel. He's going slowly.
And for Verti, he'll finish 8th, but I'm going to be honest, with the way that 2 with that Fiend and Gussie plummeted in that last lap. I have to wonder now if 30 would have ended up finishing 8th, irregardless of that accident or not.
William Bly gets 9th.
Yeah,
Well,
William Bly gets
Nissan,
ahead of Verti because Verti has the time penalties.
One Nissan 11th.
Finished 11th. Dave Ewart barely spinning out of the final corner, but he'll get 12th more than likely. Constant Jet is in place to get 13th, and TIR Flavor should come home in the 14th position.
Wait, no, I think can Flavor get it because Constant Jet's run out of fuel? No, we will not. We're like, it's not close enough, but decent, a good end of the race. A lot of drama, like especially like the start point of the race really lacked some like crashes and all that, but a lot of incidents though, like with moves with these drivers in this race, like we're making moves where they shouldn't really be making at corners. But apart from that, it was really good racing, and Mr. Anderson gets that win. Collie gets the podium, Stone Shuffle as well on that podium. Like, good to see them on that podium. And Mr. Anderson extends his lead as well in the championship, so for the Aston Martin team, you know.
Well, let's go ahead and try to get Mr. Anderson into the party here and talk about his very impressive victory. Dominated on pace, but had several scenarios where I honestly was not super confident in his ability to pull it off. Alright, and coming into the party right now is your race winner and points leader, Mr. Anderson, 1872. Mr. Anderson, go ahead and include your audio, and go ahead and walk us through this race from your perspective.
Race got off to a good start, obviously P1, then I spun, and I thought, oh no, here we go. Done really well on the hards are greater on this track, and then I went to the inters at the right time, and it went perfect from there. It was a great race.
Alright, well, other good news for you is that both you and your teammate Boothie score points today. Neither Ferrari driver ended up finishing in the points, so Aston Martin, not only are you going to extend your lead in the Drivers' Championship, you guys will now have a very significant lead in the Manufacturers' Championship.
Yeah, it's been a great race for both cars. Really buzzing for Buffy coming up in P8. Really happy with that. Really great race for us.
Alright, and now the one other question. What was your strategy at the start to run hards for that long in the middle part of the race and jump on intermediates, or were you just kind of playing it by ear and flying by the seat of your pants?
Usually it's a one stop, so if you do mediums to lap 11 and then hitting the hards for the rest of the race, it usually does well. But the inters, I thought, as soon as I saw rain on the camera, I thought, got to pit now, got to do it. Either I've lost it, but it worked well, really well. So I'm really happy.
Alright, well, congratulations. And now the final question I have to ask, do you think this will open the door for you to walk off with the championship here?
No, there's a lot of races left. It's only round what, 6? So there's another round. Is it round 5?
This is the 5th round. Yeah, because remember, Montreal got kicked down.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so well yeah, it's only 5 races in, so when I do like the lead I have, but obviously want to keep up what I'm doing, so yeah, I'm happy. Just gotta keep my head down.
Alright, well we'll be looking forward to that going forward. We'll see you next week, and it'll be interesting to say the least. Thank you very much for going ahead and sharing your thoughts as well, and good job on the spin and win.
Oh, thank you. Cheers, lads.
Alright, well now we start wrapping up our broadcast. And you know what? We had a few DNFs at the very ending part of the race due to the changing conditions and drivers not being able to deal with it. But considering almost every other race this season has seen only half or less than half of the starters finish the race, I'd say this is a win.
Yeah, indeed. Like, obviously, like, shame for like Vertex as well. Like, his win just got taken away from him. Because of that incident with Plastic Love, and then his race went downhill from there, getting 2 10-second time penalties. So really a shame from him, but hopefully he can bounce back next week at Austria get a good result for the team and just build up on that. Like, I think the changeable conditions really didn't help Gusty and Fiend, because like they, at the end, the track was so wet, they just struggled really towards the end of the race, losing like the positions that they had and losing a podium for Gusty.
You're absolutely right. But anyways, well, it is now time to start wrapping up the broadcast here today. I've been your host, InsaneLear13, and I've been joined by XRL Torpedo. Torpedo, like I said before, it's a pleasure to be able to share the booth with you. For those of you who care, next week at 5 p.m. UK time, there will be X3 again on the same channel, but I encourage you guys in an hour's time to flip over to the main channel for the X2 race, the final XRL race of this weekend here at France. Until next time, I've been InsaneLear13, joined by XRL Torpedo, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Farewell.